Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jonathan with the Rideshare Panel, and I'm checking in today about to get started on a double block with Amazon Flex. For those of you that don't know, I've been doing Amazon Flex deliveries for about the past 2 months, and I started off getting into the blocks. That's really the easiest way to get started because blocks are more readily available than like instant offers and restaurant offers. And then for a while I kind of got sidetracked. I was picking up a lot of restaurant, Amazon Fresh blocks, and doing a lot more of the instant offers. But right now I'm getting back into the regular blocks where I kind of just head to a distribution center and pick up a ton of packages. As you can see, I'm fully just loaded up in the car right now. And I'm getting back into that because I really enjoyed the restaurant stuff for a while. I was definitely making good money on tips. Amazon Flex tips are really good when you're doing instant offers or when you're picking up from restaurants because the customers tend to just make more money, at least here in Seattle. It's kind of like higher end restaurants and stuff. But the setup on the app makes it so that you spend a lot of time swiping, trying to pick these up, and less time working. And I started to realize that I was spending a lot of the day just trying to pick these up when I should just be doing stuff. And the one thing I like about blocks is that they're easy to grab and they're very consistent. You know what you're gonna get into. So I'm gonna show you guys, I just picked up my first block down here in Georgetown, and I'm set. This one's paying $66.50 and the next one's paying $72, I believe. So I'm set to make, the next one's paying $76, and I'll double check that, but I'm set to make about $142.50 today just on these two Amazon Flex blocks, which is not bad. This one's a 3.5 hour, the next one's a 4 hour, so that's 7.5 hours, but as I've mentioned kind of earlier, I usually finish these in like 70% of the time. The packages right now on this block, I've got 45, so I expect this one to take probably 2.5 hours out of the 3.5, and I'll show you guys on the map exactly what I'm getting into. So I kind of pulled up my map here and I'm headed to downtown, just a little bit north of downtown, kind of like South Lake Union of Seattle, to drop all these off. I've got 18 stops, which isn't that bad. It is downtown, so it's going to be kind of painful trying to park, but with that said, 18 stops isn't bad. A lot of these are bunched and they're business packages, which is cool. And what I like about this is that with Amazon Flex blocks, my expenses are really low. So I'm going to be driving, as you can see on the map, the map that I just pulled up, I'm really not driving that far once I get to like the cluster that I'm dropping off at. So my gas expenses are very low, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, like what my gas expenses are for Amazon Flex blocks, because I really want to show that to you guys. A lot of times people get sucked into different types of on-demand opportunities because there's a higher payout with tips, or for whatever reason you get lured in. Amazon Flex blocks are very basic, very straightforward. You're not going to get tipped, but you are keeping your expenses very low, and you do luck out occasionally and get blocks where like you're not really picking up that many packages. So overall you can finish those faster and you keep your expenses very low, which is why I really like doing it. So I'm gonna update you guys later on with my second block, show you kind of what that looks like, the layout on the map, and then I'm gonna give you an overview. And so this full day, as I mentioned earlier, I'm making $142.50 with just the blocks. The one part about Amazon Flex blocks is that you do have to show up at a distribution center. So unless you live like right next door to one, you do have to drive a little bit. Personally, I'm coming down from North Seattle to this Georgetown distribution center, so that's a bit of a drive. What I usually do is I pick up like a LYFT, like a LYFT destination filter ride, and I drive down here. I drive a couple of people, try and get as close as possible, and that way I don't really have to count that mileage as an expense on my Amazon Flex. I'm really getting paid to drive down here, which is the ideal way to do it. Keeping my expenses low per usual. And so this full day actually got started with TaskRabbit. So I walked a dog for about an hour in Green Lake. That was a blast. I'm gonna have to do like an episode on that because that was just getting paid to have fun. Really enjoyed that. After that, I picked up a quick instant offer over in Lake City. That was in the $12 to $17 range for 3 total miles, just a quick pickup from a restaurant and drop off to a business. Usually those tips tip decently, so I expect to get paid about 15 bucks on that. So already that's 30 bucks in the morning, and then my LYFT destination filter down here, that made me a few bucks as well getting that ride. So I'm coming up, like 30, 40 bucks before I even start this $142 block. So that adds up to be like an $180 day, just kind of having like a few different options going for me rideshare. And so I'll be exploring a lot of further different options that you can kind of use to diversify alongside of Amazon Flex. Amazon Flex is your bread and butter. You can pick up blocks, get a guaranteed 20 bucks an hour, you are good to go. But you want to kind of have other stuff so that you can you know, get that mileage taken care of on the way down to the distribution centers. All right, so I'm gonna go hand out these packages and check back in with you guys later tonight. Checking in right now, I'm officially on my last package of the first block. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this off. And I started this block at about 12:30. Right now it's a little bit after 3, so that took 2.5 hours, and it was a 3.5 hour block. So that rounds out to be about $66.50 for 2.5 hours, which is not that bad. I will say that this block was not as fun as other blocks that I've done. A lot of times I'll be doing residential blocks and I'm just dropping at the customer's front door. It's really easy to do. Commercial blocks, I've done a few of these before. A lot of them are apartment drop-offs where I gotta go inside and individually go to each floor of the apartment, or business drop-offs downtown where parking is a little bit harder. So that was a little bit rough, I'm not gonna lie, but honestly, still finishing up in 2.5 hours for 66 bucks, I cannot complain. So gonna go ahead and drop this off, and then I'm gonna hit Chipotle, grab myself a burrito. My next block starts at 4:45, so I've got a little bit over an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get there, which is plenty of time. I'm downtown and it's back at the Georgetown stop, so it's not that far to get down there. Hopefully traffic won't be that bad. I'm probably gonna fill up for Costco gas while I'm down there too, because Costco gas is like $1 cheaper than filling up at Shell. And I've also got my Costco Visa, so I'm gonna get 4% cash back on that. We'll check in with you guys as soon as I pick up that block, show you the map again to show you what the layout looks like, and hoping right now that Friday night I get an easy block. I've done quite a few nighttime blocks, and a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times they tend to be lighter. By this point in the day, Amazon has fewer packages, so hopefully it's fast. I can get these all dropped off and then finish up these 2 blocks in a lot quicker time than expected. All right, so I just picked up my second block of the day. I'm leaving the distribution center right now. As you can see, the car is loaded up with packages. I'm filled up. It looks like a lot of packages, but it's actually only 17 packages. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. I'm gonna zoom in on the map, and as you can see, I'm headed over to Medina to go drop those. It looks like it's far out of the way, but actually going back to North Seattle, this is just a quick loop around the lake to get me there. So it's not actually that much further than my normal drive home anyways. And logistically, once I get there, it's not gonna be a huge travel distance over there. And so I did have some free time between my blocks. And as I said, I went to Chipotle. I also got a little bit distracted, I'll be honest. I picked up a Dash with DoorDash, and it looked good because it was $5.50 bonus in downtown Seattle. Ended up not being that good because as soon as I finished it, I tried to end the Dash, and it kind of roped me in to getting another Dash, which I had to decline. So I only got paid the base $6.50 for that, which kind of sucks. You know, it's a classic DoorDash thing to do, to kind of like get you excited, rope you in, and then it ends up not working out the way you think it's gonna be. So that kind of sucked, but at the end of the day, not that bad, because I did make a little bit extra money while I was waiting in between the blocks. I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. I don't expect it to be that crazy. It's all residential. It's gonna be some nice houses over there in Medina. For those of you that don't know, that's kind of like the old Microsoft money. They're all right there on Lake Washington, so kind of looking forward to that. And I feel like I'm gonna get done with this one in about an hour, hour and a half. I will check in when I'm done. It's gonna be pitch black by then, but I'll do a quick update of how fast it went. And you know, I kind of lucked out as usual. I've done a few of these like Friday night blocks, and they don't end up being night blocks. I end up finishing them up pretty quick, so I expect to be done out of here by like 6:15. And then, you know, if I wanted to, I could go hop on, drive for LYFT or something, and make some more money tonight. We'll see where I'm at the end of this. I might just call it a night and go, you know, enjoy myself on a Friday night and tap out, you know, just a little bit under 200 bucks for the day. All right, so I'm over here in the U District. I finished up my second block. It was a $76 block, 4 hours total. I finished it up in about an hour and a half, so much faster than I expected. It was a lot faster. It was only 18 packages, and it was over there in Medina. Really nice area, kind of some of the nicest houses I've ever seen. The second to last one was like this Spanish villa with a Bentley and a Rolls Royce. Super nice, kind of some cool scenery while I was delivering. That went well. I ended up here in the U District instead of going straight home because DoorDash was surging and it was an extra $4 per dash, so I decided to go ahead and do 2 of those real quick. They were super fast, finishing them up in like a half hour or so, and that was an easy 20 bucks. But the last one I had some issues with, but before I hop into that, I want to go ahead and pull up my QuickBooks Self-Employed and show you what my gas mileage expenses were, because those were pretty interesting, actually really good, better than expected. So my total miles driven today was 35 miles, but I also did a LYFT destination ride on the way down there. So I'm gonna take off about 10 miles of that total just based on that, because that you know, that part of the day was definitely covered. That part is not attributed to Amazon Flex mileage. And the 2 DoorDashes, I'm not going to look into that because I didn't end up driving that much mileage. I'm going to go into that in a minute. But let's do the math real quick on these 35 miles. So if you subtract the 10, you get 25 miles driven. I drive a Mazda 3. That's 24 to 28 miles per gallon. And so if you look at it that way, I basically spent a gallon of gas money on this trip. That's about $2.50 here in Seattle when I'm filling up at Costco, getting those Costco membership perks. Not bad at all for mileage, and I'm going to keep going into that in the future. I'm going to do some more gas expense and mileage comparison for Amazon Flex, and then show you how that lines up against other gigs, because I believe Amazon Flex is saving me a lot of money at the gas pumps. And the reason why the DoorDashes were so low on mileage is because I actually blew a tire out here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that in a minute. The tire is blown. I picked up the second dash, and then I looked down at the tire, and it was completely shot. I don't know when this happened, but it definitely happened. So I ended up just running the meal up to the dude. It was like 6 blocks away, so it wasn't that bad. But let's hop out here, and I'm going to show you that tire real quick. And as you can see, that tire is completely shot. It's done for. I'm gonna have to replace it. So while gas expenses were low, wear and tear are actually noticeable on this trip. Definitely not all Amazon Flex's point. This was bound to happen eventually. I bought these tires on the side of the road in off of Rainier Ave at a used tire shop. And if you know anything about Rainier Ave, it's not known for its high quality tires. So it's definitely on me a little bit that this tire blew out. A little bit of a health hazard, but everything's okay. We're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the spare tire from my trunk and see if I can not jack that tire up a little bit and get it on there so we're good to go. But remember to subscribe to the channel down below, because I'm gonna be dropping tons of tips for Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, TaskRabbit, really anything on demand, and tons of side hustles that can kind of make you more money on top of that. Make sure you're subscribed, because you know, this is the place to be if you're doing rideshare.